like the fit today.
Oh, thanks, man. Good to see everybody. As always, I'd like to start by thanking our fans. Just a great showing Saturday night. Can't talk about it enough. Amazing atmosphere. I think it was a showcase to the entire country what we talk about. Why one of the reasons this place is so special. You know, we had a bunch of good prospects here, and certainly they came away impressed with the atmosphere and the game itself. So, but the crowd was a huge factor, I thought, in the win. I said it Saturday night, just making it tough on Pitt, making it tough on their quarterback. So. But it was our most complete effort of the season. You know, when you go back and look at the film on Sunday, and just we did more things that align with winning, and not that we didn't have mistakes, but we did. It was a complete effort, and I thought we finished. We started fast. We finished. We handled adversity in between. There was just a lot of things that occurred that are signs of a good team, and when you do those things, you got a pretty darn good chance of winning. So, we're excited about the opportunity at Florida State. Obviously, you put that film on. They're a good football team. They've got explosive players all over the place. They've learned how to win. They're well coached. I got a lot of respect for Coach Norvell. And I know it'll be a good atmosphere down there as well. They're scoring 40-plus points a game. They got the number 1 or 2 red zone offense in the country. They protect the quarterback. He protects the ball. There's just a lot of good things going on there. And then I think defensively up front, where it starts, they got an active front and a good front that's a problem. And then I think in the perimeter they play fast. They fit fast. They're just a talented team. I can see why they're ranked where they are. So, but I'll take some questions from there.
I know you try to preach an even keel after wins or losses. Is there a different feel around the building to get a win like that, and a little bit different feeling?
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. It's more smiles, and you don't have to. There's just more smiles. I think everybody it was a gratifying win. Just so much work and sacrifice. And I think the coaches and the players did a nice job ignoring the noise, concentrating on the game and the preparation. And I think it paid off. But so Sunday was certainly a lot more smiles in the building. But at the same time, plenty to correct.
I know Grant is still on the men, so I don't even know if this comes into play this week. But with the way Kyron played last week, does that change your designation at quarterback and who you consider the starter at this point?
Yeah, honestly, right now we don't have to answer that question. We got to see what kind of week Grant has. He's got to get well. But obviously, I'm super excited, and so is the staff, about the game that Kyron played and the progress he made from the previous week to this week. And, I'm anxious to go see him play again and play well. We got to put a great plan together for him, and he's got to execute it.
We saw Nasir Peoples warm up, dress. How close is he to being cleared?
Yeah, he wasn't able to play, obviously, Saturday, but he's getting close. He'll be a guy that's questionable right now. We'll see how he does today and tomorrow, but I would think that has a chance to be a Friday, Saturday decision.
With the way Florida State plays, and especially with how big their outside receivers are, a guy as old as Nasir, with the reps he has, how important would getting him back against a team like Florida State help this defense?
Yeah, he's a 6-year guy. He's really steady. He doesn't get flustered. He's a great communicator. He does have good size to match up in the boundary. We've missed him, and from a depth standpoint, some of the things we've had to do, from a communication standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, So we're anxious to get him back, and he's worked really hard at a recovery.
When you look at how the defense played against Pitt, is this the most complete game you've seen from the defense minus the two big pass plays?
Yeah, I think so. Coach Marv's done a terrific job, and I think each week they've gotten better. But that was a team that had really run the ball well, over the years, and then even this season. And I thought they had a great plan in place. I thought Chris and the staff did a really good job of executing the plan. The players did. Stuck with the script and kept Pitt off schedule, and that made the difference. We're not happy with the explosive plays. We got to make them earn it all game long for 4 quarters, so we got to improve there. But I think the other thing is just the leadership and the mentality that Chris is just, the way that defense approaches the game and play hard to the finish and rally to the ball and stick together. That's a credit to Chris.
You mentioned multiple times after the game how good job Tyler Bowen did offensively. What did you like? What impressed you the most about the offensive game plan, the wrinkles they put in, playing to Kyron's strengths? What impressed you the most about that?
I think you have to do 2 things. You have to look at your own group, your own unit, and what are the things we can do well, and what are the things we need to minimize. I thought we did a good job of that, playing to our strengths. And then you look at the opponent and that unit, and you say, okay, where are their weaknesses? Where are their strengths? So I thought we had a good plan, and we got it in place early where we had a chance to practice it a bunch. Guys got comfortable with it, particularly Kyron, and we were able to go out and execute it. Again, we can sit in there all day long and come up with lots of good stuff that makes sense to us as coaches, but it has to make sense to the players. And I thought it was a good mix. There was sideline to sideline plays. There was still handoffs up the middle. There was play action. There were shots. There were screens. Just when I look at it through defensive coordinator's eyes, there's a lot to defend in what we did.
Feldarius continues to impress back-to-back weeks with more than 1 sack. What is it about the way he's playing right now that is making him so hard to stop from an offensive line perspective?
Yeah, his greatest strength is his quickness. He's very twitchy and active. He's hard to block that way.
Back there, David, and then Anthony.
Coach, coming off a win, you got a network television audience against a number 5 team. What kind of opportunity does this game present to the program, and how do you approach it mentally?
It's an opportunity to be 1-0 this week. We need to be a better team this week than we were Saturday. And we talked about that in our team meeting on Sunday. That's the emphasis today. We got to identify as the keys to success against Florida State. What do we need to do well to give each phase a chance to play well and win the game? And work hard at that all week. But we want to be 1-0 this week.
Brent, being more than 3 touchdown underdogs, does that change anything as far as how you approach it? Might you consider taking more shots? Do you want to control the clock? How do you approach? What's the path to victory, I guess?
I didn't know we were 3 touchdown underdogs, so no.
You guys have not faced a lot of passing offenses with real dynamic weapons. Florida State has a couple of those guys, pretty tall receivers. How much of a challenge is this for your cornerbacks, and how eager are you to see how they handle it?
I think it's a tremendous challenge. I think this group of wideouts, arguably one of the best in the league, if not in the country. And they got a quarterback that can deliver the ball. He's patient. He makes great decisions, good reads, can extend plays. But, they got a guy that's 6'6", 6'7", with a great catch radius. And then certainly number 4, this guy can run great routes. He's got good speed, scary with the ball, really good ball skills. They got a tight end that can be a matchup problem. They get their backs out of the backfield into their routes a ton. So it's a dynamic pass offense altogether, and then they've got the playmakers to make it really dangerous.
When you go back and look at how Mansour played at safety, how do you evaluate how he did in that role? And then would you like him back in his usual cornerback spot, especially considering the kind of challenge that FSU
Yeah, I
presents?
think, again, he's being very unselfish right now and, changing positions for us and playing every snap at safety was a tall order. And there's certainly some things he did well and some things that he can improve on, as he gets more reps. And, he's been dipping back and forth. He probably gets 15% of his practice up to last week at safety and the rest of it at corner. Last week was a little different. But, having to learn a couple different spots is challenging. He's just a second-year player. And, but I thought for what we asked him to do, he did a very nice job. And, I'm excited about the opportunity this weekend. We'll see how we heal up, who's available. We didn't have Jalen Jones on Saturday. If we get Jalen back, if we get Nasir a little bit, what does that look like? Mose is still nursing his ankle. So, we got to get healthy. And, yeah, would I like to see Mansour matched up on these guys? I think at his best position, yeah, I think that's to our benefit. Him and Dorian, it's a tall order, but I love those guys. I think they're excited about the opportunity.
Brent, you mentioned after the Rutgers game, Keontae Jenkins was dealing with a lot when it comes to injury standpoint, but specifically last week, he played probably his best game of the season. What have you seen out of him, especially as he's, I guess, developing more at that star position after being a safety?
Yeah, he did play his best football game. I'm glad you bring it up. He worked really hard at it all week. We'd been a little bit disappointed. He'd been a little bit disappointed. Some of it was injury. Some of it was just not playing to what we saw all preseason camp. I thought we saw a closer version of that Saturday, and he needs to continue to improve and play to his potential. He's got the right mindset right now to do it. He's probably the healthiest he's been since camp. So we got to make sure there's no setbacks this week. But, I think Caleb Woodson has been a good compliment as a true freshman to take a little pressure off Keontae.
When you look at that star position, especially against a team like Florida State, is that a crucial position when you're looking at what they can do with their tight end and the running backs out of the backfield in terms of matching up and being able to fit the box as well?
Yeah, I think that's, it's all those guys. It's the star, it's the Mike, the Will, it's the down safety. Those guys have to be really good. You watch the film, and those tight ends and backs, they're a problem. They're a big part of their passing concepts, and, we're going to have to be on our toes to cover those guys.
You pared down the linebacker rotation. Did you sense that, with Tisdale and Lawson, that things finally clicked for them? And
I think it was pared down more so. I mean, those two guys are clearly number one right now. But, we only played 46, 47 snaps of defense. With the extended drive the offense had in the fourth quarter. And I think, that allowed us to play those guys, a little bit more.
Coach Pry, Florida State might be the biggest team you guys face all year in the trenches, especially defensively. They have an edge rusher that, could be one of the first 5 picks in next year's draft. What stands out to Florida State's defense to you on tape?
Yeah, I think they're dominant up front. As I mentioned, I think those guys, they're big, they're strong, they separate. The Verse kid can do anything. He's a run stopper. He's a pass rusher. He's very good, but I think they're good inside. They got strength and size on the interior. We got our hands full up front with this group.
How do you feel about the offensive line's development going into a challenge like that?
Yeah, I think we were improving. I would say we improved. We did some good things Saturday. I like the clips where the backs continue to run and the O-line's pushing them from behind and we're pushing the pile. And I think, there's just, we are a group that doesn't have a lot of depth up front. We played without Braylon Moore on Saturday. I thought Brody stepped up, played a very solid game. We'll have to evaluate that as we go. But, I'm excited about this group continuing to get better. We need to do that, and they got the mindset to do that. This is a big challenge. This is a big challenge. This will be arguably the best front we see, arguably one of the best in the league, if not in the country. I mean, they're a top 5 team for a reason.
Different team, different environment, obviously, but I know the Marshall game, in terms of a road contest, you really liked your approach that your team took to that one and preparing for it. How do you try to take some of that success and also come out on the winning side of having that good approach and taking your act on the road?
Yeah, I think it goes back to your Friday plan and what you're doing from a practice meeting standpoint, how you travel, the guys, their approach to Fridays, and then, we made a conscious effort to start fast, and some things we did Saturday morning at the hotel, in the locker room, and in pregame. And for 2 weeks, I think I've felt that. It's been better. We got to make sure we do that regardless of what the environment's like down there. We got to come out and, take care of ourselves and do what we need to do.
All right, let's go to Zoom for a couple.
Crickets. Poor David Till. He's out there somewhere trying to get through right now.
Brent,
Yeah, there he is.
yeah. Keon Coleman didn't play a whole lot in 2000.
You're going to have to say that again. Who you talking about?
Keon Coleman.
Yep.
He didn't play a lot in 2021 at Michigan State. Were you guys at Penn State aware of him at all?
I don't remember him. I'd have to go back to the scouting report. All I know is I put that tape on now, and I'm very aware.
And then, do you guys have anybody on the scout team who can come close to replicating that kind of size?
That's a great question. We've got a couple of guys that are going to roll through. We may move. We've got a tight end, Cole Ream-Snyder, who's 6'7". We may move him out there for some snaps in some certain situations. Latrell Sutton, another guy with good size. We've got some things we talked about this morning that will give us the best chance to prepare our group.
And you mentioned that Verse can do virtually anything. Does he become more effective now that Patrick Payton at the other end seems to be coming into his own?
I think so, because I tell you, I'm almost as impressed with Peyton. He's quick and fast. He's hard to block. He can really run. He doesn't quite have the size, I don't think, that Verse has, but they got two good players on the edge.
Thank you.
Am I up? Hello?
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. I can't, we're not hearing the other person on here. Going back to Fidarius, when you recall, what can you recall about when you were recruiting him, when he went into the portal? And also, what was he able to do last year when he was out all season?
I'm sorry, who are you talking about? Couldn't hear that.
Fidarius?
Phil Darius. Yeah, there's history there when he was coming out of Lackawanna. I have a good relationship with the coaches there. Got to know them very well in my time at Penn State. And, we were at a lot of their practices over the years. And, we ended up not going on him at Penn State for a couple of reasons, but always thought he was going to be a good player at our level. And he went to Nebraska and just didn't get the snap count he wanted. He was kind of their third end. And I knew he was active. He was a pass rusher, a guy that's kind of hard to block but would be a little undersized, as a defensive tackle. But, I couldn't be more happy for him. He's a hard worker. He's a great young man. The injury setback last year was very unfortunate for us and for him. So to see him have some success is, obviously good for our team, but super excited for Fidarius.
One of the things, on top of this, he wasn't getting the snaps, and Nebraska went through just a horrible snake bit and run there with all those close losses while he was there. What was when he came in? Was his attitude still a little positive and everything, or was there a little bit of rebuilding that
he has always been incredibly positive and had a great outlook through the injury, through the transfer, all of it. He's always been complimentary of Nebraska, his time there. He's just he's a very upstanding guy, family man. I got a lot of respect for Phil Darius. I just spoke to his junior college coach the other day. I mean, everybody's so happy to see him do what he's doing, and he's got to build on it. He's a talented guy. He's got to build on it, and this is a great opportunity for him. This is a very nice offensive line we're playing. They're big, they're wide, got good feet, well coached. That's a good challenge for our defensive line.
Thank you.
Hey, Brent, it's Hank Kurz with AP. 3:30 in the afternoon, national television, number 5 team in the country on the road. That can be pretty heady stuff, especially for young guys. Is there something you do to try to minimize the hype in them going into a game like this?
Yeah, again, we try and focus on us and our process. And, I think when you get to the stadium sometimes, that's when it can maybe jump on those young guys a little bit. But we encourage them. They go down to the field. They run around a little bit. It's the same 100 yards. I'm always telling them that. And, that's part of it. Go look at it. Go soak it up for a minute or two, and then let's get ready to play. I think that's part of gaining experience, to your point, the young guys. It's good experience for them and to go through. And, we'll keep emphasizing that we need to start fast and concentrate on key reads and fits. And, that'll be the emphasis.
Thank you.
Feels like every week we've seen more and more of what Bashal Tuden is capable of. How would you evaluate his performance so far, and do you feel like last game was his best?
Yeah, I do feel like the last game was his best. He got the touches that he needs to get, whether he was handed the ball or thrown the ball. I think he's got to continue to get himself in shape to get that many touches. We're working on that this week, but I think he's another guy, honestly, that can only get better and better. He's a big part of our offense, and I think he, the playmaking ability he has, I think we're starting to see that. We're starting to benefit from that, and he's got to be a big piece of what we do offensively for us to be successful. All right, thanks, everybody.